Good day. This is Calvin, Professor C here. So, have you wondered how much you can make as a mortgage agent? Well, lately there are a lot of students and my viewer ask me, well, Calvin, so I am right now having a full-time job, but I just passed my mortgage agent exam and licensed as a mortgage agent. But I'm not sure if I want to, full-time do it or part-time because I'm not sure if I can replace my full-time income by doing a mortgage agent, by being a mortgage agent, right? So they asked me how much can I make actually as being a mortgage agent. So in this video, I will tell you roughly how much you can make as a mortgage agent, okay? So first, I want to let you know that just like any other job, there's only like a typical pay, like it's like a bell curve, right? So there are some people who is doing very poor, and a majority of the people will do an average amount of income, and then there's some extraordinary, people that are making a lot of money as being a mortgage agent. So for me, I will cut out those who are not doing very well and those who are doing super well, and just focus on the average people. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so as many of you knows that I am in Toronto. So Toronto is one of the most expensive city in Canada, along with Vancouver and then Montreal, Ottawa, and Quebec. So in Toronto, a typical detached home goes for about $900,000. Okay, and so for this example, let's assume that they are putting down, say, 30% down payment. So let's use $630,000 as their mortgage amount. Okay, so you are doing a deal for $630,000 of mortgage. Okay, the price is $900,000 detached home. So a typical lender would pay you anywhere from 50 basis points to all the way up to over 100 basis points. So by basis point, what I mean is percentage. So 0.5% to 1%. There are obviously some lenders that pay higher and some pay lower. But let's just say we use a very conservative amount of just 50 basis points. So 0.5%. So in that case, you will see that $630,000 times 0.005. You are making $3,150. Now, obviously, this is the amount of the finder fee that the lender would pay you. Because when you are making in a mortgage deal, there are two ways to make money. One is called the finder fee, which the lender, for example, Home Trust, EQ Bank, etc., would pay you to help them find a client, and they are the one that actually take the money out to do the mortgage, right? So they're the lender, and they will pay you a finder fee. And this one is the one that I was talking about. So there, 0.5%. So this is the finder fee. So the finder fee, you may get $3,150. Now, depending on the brokerage, you might have to, you usually, as a mortgage agent, you have to split with your mortgage brokerage, right? So depending on what split, what you get, you might get, say, I don't know, 80%, 75% maybe. So let's just say 2,500. No, instead of going into detail, just say 2,500. Okay, so this is find the fee. But on top of that, you can also do, there's another way to make money, and it's called broker fee. So this fee is not paid to you by the lender which is the one that actually take out the money, just like the bank. The lender is the bank. Okay, this broker fee is actually paid by the client to you, through the brokerage, right? So you may say, okay, well, this deal, I will charge you a 1% brokerage fee, which is pretty typical. Some lower, some higher again, but 1% is okay. So that is $6,300. Okay, and again, you have to split some with the brokerage. So let's just say 5,000. Use a good round number. And so in that case, you make 7,500, right? So this is one case. You say, wow, one case, 7,500. That's not too bad, right? Mind you, brokerage fee sometimes, some would be charged less or some would be charged more. But let's, assume that this is your friend and you don't even charge this one, right? Then this is 2,500. Then you say, oh, 2,500. Wow, that's a big difference between 2,500 and 7,500, right? But because I want to show you the most conservative way to calculate that, to make it real, because I can say, a big number, and then you say, wow, I don't know if I can charge 1% brokerage fee all the time, right? That's why I would say, let's forget about that and count the brokerage fee as a bonus. But even with just a $2,500 finder's fee, how much can you make in that case then, right? For one case, you make 2,500, and let's just say that you are working as a full-time office worker, and you are making, let's say, $60,000 right now, okay, salary. So how much you need to do in order to replace that income, right? Then you just use $60,000 divided by 2,500. You need to do 24 cases in that case, right? So to replace your full-time income, you need 24 cases per year. And in that case, even without using the calculator, we know that that is 2 cases per month, right? So 2 cases per month. Now think about it. Can you do it, right? How much is involved in doing a case, right? To be honest, there's a lot of time that you spend to need to prospect, to connect with your client, to connect with your real estate agent and other referral source. So that takes some time. And then when you get the deal, you have to interview the client, you have to communicate with them, you have to gather document with them, you have to go meet them, answer their question. So that takes a lot of time too. Then you also have to then input the deal to the system, communicate with the underwriter, send some document to the credit assistant, get it approved, order appraisal, and finish up everything, broker complete, and send it to the lawyer, all that stuff. So let's just assume that in a typical week, let's just say that you are using 10 to 15 hours to do all that, and then once you get the deal, you use another 10 to 15 hours to do a deal. That's not unusual for a new person. So let's just say you need let's just use another round number, 25 hours for that deal, right? From first prospecting to finish, 25 hours. which I think is okay. If you make $2,500 for that deal and you use 25 hours, it is $100 per hour. Would you like it? First of all, I would say probably yes. Okay, but is it realistic to do 2 deals a month? And if you're doing that full-time because you want to replace your full-time job, right? I would say it is more than realistic, right? It is more than realistic. In fact, it is unrealistically low. I have a lot of students that follow my program, even just in the first month of their license, would complete more than 2 deals in that month. But again, I want to use very, very conservative number. So let's just say 2 deals a month and you can replace your full-time income because you need 24K per year to replace your $60,000 income. So that means even if you want to jump into mortgage broker business, it is very realistic for you to replace your current full-time income even in the first year. Okay? Now this is the simple way to calculate the math. However, it is not actually true because you may say, no, I am still not confident about having 24K in a year. I still find it, skeptical. I am very not good at, communicating and all that. Maybe I only have less amount of deals. Let me show you that even if you have less than 24K per year, you can still fully replace your full-time income, the current income, because you have to understand that this is a salary income. What that means is basically you receive a T4 slip at the end of the year, then you basically have almost no way to deduct any tax from this income. Whereas as a mortgage agent, there are a lot of ways to deduct the income. For example, my cell phone bill, because my cell phone is an essential expense for me to incur this income. I need to call my client, right? I need to drive, so auto expense, right? Because I need to drive to see the client. You might have a home office, you might or might not, obviously, but you might. There are a lot of other like internet that you might need to use in order to communicate with your client, right? And all sorts of things, right? And I'm just listing out like some of the basic example. Obviously, this channel is not about accounting and tax, and that's why you should talk to your accountant about deducting some of this expense. But I can tell you that's not a problem. Some of the time you actually have to also go out with a client and maybe you treat them to a nice restaurant, and the meal, even the bill on that meal, half of it can be deducted on tax. So you see, even with less than 24K that you need to do in a year, because you have all this deduction that you can do, in fact, you may only need to make maybe, and I'm not doing it in an exact figure, but just maybe you actually need to make $40,000 to replace the after-tax income of your $60,000 salary, just because you can deduct all this expense. Okay? So I hope that by doing this simple analysis, it gives you some confidence to become a full-time mortgage agent. And if you like this channel and the content that I provide, you can subscribe and like this video. By subscribing this video, every time I have a new video, I usually do it weekly, you will see a notification in your cell phone or in your laptop, so that it reminds you to come and watch the latest episode of my channel. Okay, and it costs you nothing. It's free to subscribe to YouTube channel. Okay, and on the screen there's also some of my information about my book, where you can buy my new mortgage agent handbook, as well as where to register for my live webinar workshop, because a lot of my YouTube viewer right now is telling me that, hey, I love your video, but there are some questions that I want to ask you after I watch your video. Are you going to do some live webinar? Yes. And if you like that, just register it. It's not free of charge. There's a charge on it, but it's, I guarantee you can make back that money, just 1/10 of it, right? You will find it very useful. I purposely price it at a very low price point, because I know new agent is skeptical about paying money before making money. But I assure you, you will find it very valuable. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.